Not in all honesty expecting a great deal from Uganda against Australia or indeed England. Their big match will come against Sri Lanka at the end of the day. May well be a little bit of damage limitation here. Australia were efficient, really took their opportunities well against Sri Lanka before perhaps dropping off a little bit in the final couple of minutes, maybe conserving a little bit of energy. Star performer in that match was Cameron Clark, and he starts this match. Hat-trick against Sri Lanka in the IRB Sevens Dream Team this season. And a very satisfactory start to Geraint John's coaching career as an adopted Australian. Scott Hastings and Talbot Onyango with his assistant Yajiro Kasasa. So Australia against Uganda. Australia in the gold, as you'd expect. It's Uganda first chance to use the ball with Ben on Kiza. Run over halfway from Bijik. First test for the likes of Uganda, Scott, is how they hold on to possession, how much they treasure it, and it's not lasted long there because Sean McMahon, the Melbourne Rebels flanker, able to stride away with it.
Tom Cusack with a huge tackle which put pressure on this Ugandan defence.
Foley, little offload. Cusack involving himself again. Number 8 is Greg Jelyadev, who's starting, having come off the bench in the first game, and Jelyadev again, who took a beautiful offload, waited, bided his time, scored. First try of the match for Greg Jelyadev.
Well, one of the young outstanding players in this Australian squad, but just look at the angle that he took in support. And we'll see a lot of that as the competition unfolds, Nick, and it's the inside running and channels that go, and you've got to squeeze your defence there to allow that to close the door. And Jelyadev, well, outstanding there to score a very, very good try, converted by Cameron Clark. Here it is again, but it's just this understanding. And Pamafo with a lovely, just soft hands, as they say when you're out in the practice field, soft hands to draw the man and to lay on the try.
We've been talking all morning about how the instincts as a sevens player are just that much more heightened. They're all the skills, all the great magical abilities you need as a 15-a-size player. It just seems as if there's more of a spotlight. It burns that much more.
Absolutely, it's the microscope that you're under, and you've got to perform your skills.
Uganda looking to put something together. He was whacked off his feet, but enough to continue with play. Maybe not now. Jelyadev will skate in for his second try despite the best work of Emma Akodu. And there we have it, just the precision, the ability to hold on to the ball.
Yeah, interesting. I'm looking at Wakarat, who gave that pass, and it was just quite, it was what we call hippie. It wasn't quite across, and he's going, well, he was giving his teammates absolute stick, but it was he who delivered the pass. And Jelyadev was thankful to Nippon for his second try of this tie already, with only, what, 3 minutes on the clock.
He's got 3 now in the competition so far. He contributed one of the 10 against Sri Lanka. Finished 5th behind England in last season's IRB World Sevens Series. Australia. Challenge for them and for Geraint John to move up a place and book a spot at the Olympics in Rio next year. That's as much of what the Sevens Series will be about next season. Qualification for the Olympics, finishing in the top 4. Australia with the likes of Greg Jelyadev trying to build to overtake England if at all possible. With lots of others with a shout of 4th place as well. Here goes Pamafo. Again, the confidence to hold on to the ball, to wait for the pass, to find Cusack, who in turn finds Jesse Harahi. who in no time at all notches up Australia's third try.
Jesse Barahi making his games debut, and again one of these youngsters, 24-year-old, gets on the support, but again you can see the Ugandans there just getting sucked into the contact. 3 players got sucked into that original contact with Tom Cusack. Cusack's such an abrasive forward here in this Australian team.
And 5-point score. Shot goal conversion attempt not connecting. It nearly ended last season on a high, Australia. They led New Zealand 21-0 in the final of the concluding event. And remember, Scott, Twickenham in May, before losing 52-33, which says a lot about Australia's potential and perhaps a little bit more about New Zealand's stickability.
I'm very embarrassed at that game. I was actually commentating at that final and just sort of hinting that New Zealand, were they on the ropes? Well, dare I say it, and dare I question New Zealand rugby, but just to come back in such a manner and fashion, and obviously they've started sprightly as well this morning.
Now you go! Oh, no. Philip Walker-Hatch is going to be pulled back. I reckon that's about the most unpopular blow of a referee's whistle in the day so far.
The forwards, scrum, goal.
They're tall, athletic men. I'm just looking out there, and his brother Michael Walker-Hatch in the forwards. This is they're quite an abrasive team, and you just get a feeling that if they get the ball with a bit of space, Emma Kodo was also in support there, that Uganda, well, they're going to get the biggest cheer of the day from this audience, aren't they?
Set!
It's the third Commonwealth Games for the Africans. They were in Melbourne in 2006, beat Tonga in their pool, but were beaten by South Africa and Samoa. And they played Australia 4 years ago in Delhi. It's actually the exact same pool this year, with Australia, England and Sri Lanka all matched together. Back then, Australia won it 33-0. Well on the way, the Wallabies, to matching that score here, and they've got lots of gold in open green space. And once again, it's Jelyadev, and he's in for a hat-trick. And in successive matches, Australians have scored quick-fire hat-tricks. Cameron Clark in the first game, Greg Jelyadev in the second.
Yeah, we also saw Siabelo Senatla score a hat-trick as well for South Africa earlier on. But just good hands there from Australia, wasn't it? 3-on-2. As the crowd here around Ibrox were chanting on for Uganda, wanting them to shut out this Australian attack, but Australia just going to show the class that they've got within their team. And you know, when you consider that former coach Michael O'Connor stepped down, and it was a real body blow to this young squad. They had high hopes that O'Connor might take them through to qualification for the Olympic Games, and of course next season the top 4 teams from the 15 core teams that travel the world on the IRB Sevens World Series will be going for the Olympic qualification. And Australia have high hopes that this is a stepping stone process for them to get to the Olympic Games in Rio.
Time's up at the end of the first half, but on we go until the next breakdown. It may well be another Australian try if Uganda aren't careful. Ball's been lost forward, so Aussies will have
2 knock-ons. First black, then gold.
one more go, that's it. Half-time. Australia leading by 24 points to 0. They scored 4 tries, 3 of the 4 from their number 8, Greg Jelyadev. And Talbot Onyango has 1 or 2 things to say to the Cranes, as they're known, Scott, just looking after the ball as well as perhaps they might, and Australia making the absolute most of whatever possession they have.
Yeah, looking on the IRB statistics, that they're listed in 15s as the 57th ranked team. Here's Kerry and John. Let's listen in.
Well done. Right. Keep doing the same things. Indeed. Handle the ball. Keep our structure. Come back. That third and fourth down.
Say there, the Welshman was in charge for the first time of Australia this weekend after leaving his role with Canada, that long-time role, to replace Mike O'Connor. Talbot and Yango, and then looking after Uganda. Sport introduced, by the way, by the British, not surprisingly, in the days of the Empire in the 20th century. First played internationally in the 1950s, and it was during the 50s, Scott, that the British and Irish Lions, on the way down to the tours to and from South Africa would sometimes stop off in East Africa and play games in the area that Uganda now live in.
Well, that's right, and it was quite interesting because I was reading a little bit of history as well, and when you consider the former dictator, actually, Idi Amin, actually played the game of rugby, and he actually had a great fondness for Scotland, and that's the fact there was a Hollywood film put out, wasn't there, called The Last King of Scotland, and very ironic that here we are back in Scotland for the seven-a-side game. The game was invented here in Melrose in 1883, and the linkage of this wonderful sport being played out here at Ibrox, the home of Rangers Football Club.
That's a wonderful start to this second half from Australia. Tom Lucas with the perfectly judged hanging kick. Something that Australia can get straight back to business. Here is Lucas fishing the ball across to Parahi. Another charge from Gelyadev, who's emptying the tank in this match, and once again there are lots of gold shirts away to the left-hand side. Liam Gill looking to exploit the opportunities that the Australians have, and Tom Cusack bundles his way over for his first try of these Commonwealth Games. Australia very quickly rattle up their fifth.
Yeah, you can see the difference between the teams. Australia very settled in the transference of the ball, and these are the type of moves that these players practice week in, week out, day in, day out. It's the accuracy of the pass for the man. Well, Nick, I was reading an interview actually today from Yairo Kasasa, who's the assistant coach here, and he was just saying, we might be small, but our hearts are big. And you know, we've seen glimpses of the Ugandans, and as we've mentioned, that if they do actually get a score, well, their hearts will be bursting with pride, wearing their international jerseys here.
Well, that's another restart that Gebbie's mates every opportunity to win it back, and at the moment Uganda just can't get their hands on the ball. Cusack again, the last of Australia's try scorers. Parahi was coming on a fabulous burst there. He read that from a long way out, and he managed to ground the ball as well. And without touching the ball, Uganda have conceded another score.
Absolutely, and both the last two Australian ties had come from the quality of the kickoff. Look at the height. Australia right up there. They get the deflection perfectly. He power on the run here as Ugandans closed in on him. But watch the way he went over, touched the ball down. Australia in utter command.
His second try, Tom Lucas with the conversion. And having scored 2 tries, he clocks off.
Oh, please. Time off.
Australia's not entirely happy with the scheduling, Scott. They will have played their second game before England have played their first, and
Time on.
they're going to have an 8-hour gap to fill between the end of this match and the start of the game with England at around 9:45 local time, when it'll be dark, and they're actually going to go back to the athletes' village to rest up. They've got 1 or 2 logistical issues to deal with. Quite so much trouble on the pitch at the moment. It's more about managing them for the big match to come against England, but they are really putting some moves together here and playing solidly enough. Ibrox getting behind the Africans. However, the voice of 50,000 people can do very little to stop Australia in this form, and I think Tom Lucas may have scored another.
Yeah, referee video review. You'll probably maybe have a look. First of all, he consults the in-goal touch judge. He then considers the touch. He'll then go to the big screen and watch this. He'll turn around and have a wee look at the big screen, although there's 2 massive screens here in this ground. Let's see if we can see from this angle if Tom Lucas is touch.
Yeah.
Yes.
The left knee is the issue. Was his left knee out of play before he put the ball down? This will tell us. This will be the best angle. Simultaneously, isn't it?
In touch.
Well, I would say that's in touch.
Yeah.
And of course the law does say and state that if there is doubt, you could not award a try.
Still plenty of work for Uganda's defence to do. M08 gathering the line out. They are in a deep hole here. And that was very neatly done. Okarach, bouncing ball picked up by Jeliadev, and then he's fired to the floor by Sebeliba. Taken on by Jeliadev again, and he is turning a little star performance in this match against the Ugandans. He has a 4th try.
Well, Con Foley, look at this wonderful pass, just entices this Ugandan defence into his pockets and then slips one behind the back for Jeliadev. And well, you don't often score 4 tries in a tie of 7-a-side rugby, but this young man has done so.
He's got 5 all in now in this Commonwealth Games tournament. We've still got 2.5 minutes to go. Uganda might be sucking in fairly heavily here.
Well, it's all about an exposure at this international level. You've got to appreciate that Australia, fully professional squad against the Ugandans. And reading about them, they're all students, doctors, builders, and concerns that their allowances have not come through from their federation, but they're here to play rugby and to experience the warm welcome of the people of Glasgow.
Well, Australia haven't done much wrong in this match, but that was a mistake. Ball not going 10 metres from the restart, so Uganda, for once, have some ball to play with. How long can they hold on to it?
Roll up.
This is Okarach.
Play on.
Sebeliba was having to do an awful lot there, but he came away with it and got the ball off the ground brilliantly to Ujonga. Ramathan finding some space. This is Kasita, taken back inside by Perio. Ramathan again, and they've got some numbers on this left-hand side. They might not need them, however. Sebeliba going on his own. He went for broke, and in hindsight, maybe the wide ball to Michael Okarach might have been the better option.
Yeah, without a doubt, and Tom Cusack there showing the footballing skills. And listen to this crowd, isn't it wonderful? 40,000 people chanting for Uganda.
It's a scrum.
Well, you were asking how long can they hold on to the ball. When you do hold on to the ball in 7s, you make life awfully difficult.
Selected scrum. Here it is. Here's your mark. Scrum. Hold there, okay.
Ugandan scrum.
Okay.
Ben and Kizza has the first job of putting it in. It might not be entirely straight, but we won't worry too much about that. Oh, well, it went in completely the wrong direction that he really wanted it to go in. But he's going to get another go because Australia were up to no good, Scott.
Well, I don't think I've ever seen a ball put in at 2 feet above. But anyway, they've got this penalty. The crowd are right behind them. Let's see if they can get over the line.
Come on, even the most flinty-hearted Aussie must be thinking a Ugandan try wouldn't be the worst thing in the world here. And they might get one. That's the roar, the Ibrox roar, to salute M08, who for as long as he lives, we'll be able to say I got 50,000 folk off their feet at Ibrox.
Well, what about this, folks? What a marvellous game it is, isn't it? When you're 43-0 down and you score a try. Well, unfortunately, the conversion was missed amongst all that excitement. Here's the try, though, set up by Michael Okarach. Gets the inside try. Okodu in under the post. Watch the excitement and the delight. Yeah, special kiss there.
Well, I hope all of you watching back in Australia hoping for a whitewash will forgive us. That was enjoyable. And Australia in total control right up to the concession of that final try. It won't worry Geraint John overly, I suspect. And Greg Jeliadev taking that match by the scruff of the neck. He scored 4 of their 7 tries. Jesse Parahy with a couple, Tom Cusack with the other, and they've won this by 43 points to 5, and Australia have already booked their place in tomorrow's quarter-finals. That, coupled with the heavy defeat of Sri Lanka 62-7 earlier, means that the match against England is not so much a dead rubber, because matches with England are never dead rubbers. But either way, they're into the knockout stages. They're into the last 8, and they're still eyeing Commonwealth gold.